Today we're talking afternoon turkey hunting. At some point during every season in every state, you can hunt till dark, meaning when they go back up to roost. So you have to have some knowledge on afternoon turkey hunting, as the tactics are different compared to the morning hours. I'm going to give you 4 of my killer tips to help you kill a gobbler this year in the afternoon. First off, let's go over where to find them. As opposed to the morning hours where you can basically find them anywhere they're roosted, you want to look for the shaded areas, depending on how hot the day is, because let's face it, it gets hot during turkey season a lot of the times, 85, 90 degrees, and as you're hot, they get hot. So you want to look for the shaded areas, whether it's a shaded field, a shaded hilltop, or creek bottoms and swamps, because it's cooler areas. They need water, so if you're able to find a shaded area next to a creek, a hot spot for a turkey, that's where you're going to want to look, because they're not just going to be out in the middle of an open field in 95-degree weather. They're just not going to do it. You don't want to be out there. The turkeys don't want to be out there. So look for the areas that are cooler, and that's normally where you're going to find them. As it approaches closer to where they're going to fly back up to roost, then you can start working back towards the field edges and the hilltops, depending where you are in the country. That's where you're going to want to find them when it comes to hunting the roost in the afternoon. But if we're just talking the afternoon, you want to look for the shaded areas where the turkeys can cool down. Mid-afternoon, you can look for the areas where they feed. So look for scratching areas. Alongside the scratching areas in the woods, you can look for the shaded field areas to where they will forage for bugs and everything in the tall grass. They still need to do that. So those are the 2 areas that I would look for. A bunch of scratching areas in the woods and the shaded field edges. And you're probably going to find turkeys in those areas mid-afternoon at some point. So the 2 places you should be looking: creek bottoms, shaded areas, and feeding areas when it comes into the afternoon hunt. Tip number 2, afternoon turkey hunting: be their lover. And when I say that, they're lonely. The toms are lonely when it comes in the afternoon hours. The hens will leave the toms 10, 11 a.m. normally to go off to nest. So that means from there until it starts getting closer to the dark, when it comes to the roost where they kind of meet back up, they're going to be alone normally. Whether they're alone or with jakes, like a group of jakes or 2 toms, they're normally alone when it comes to spring turkey hunting in the afternoon. So be their lover. Find them and call to them. If you get them to gobble, they're most likely going to come into you. If you play it right and don't spook them setting up on them, and they don't see you and they don't bust you, and you don't overly call, if you just sweet talk them and you get a gobble in the afternoon, a lot of the times you will get them to come in. These bugs are horrendous today, but be their lover, and once you get a gobble, sweet talk them and just get ready, because they're probably coming. Tip number 3, adjust. You need to adjust your calling tactics in the afternoon compared to the morning hours, as they are more fired up in the morning hours generally, because they're feeding and cooling down in the afternoon. They're not as aggressive, so your calling can't be as aggressive when it comes in the morning hours. You can still get hot and get aggressive at them, but generally you don't want to just go around the woods pop, 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 yap, 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 yap. You want to sweet talk them. Act like you're a feeding hen. You need to move slower throughout the woods. Adjust your calling tactics, adjust your movement. When you're running and gunning in the afternoon, really slow down. Maybe you walk a dirt road and go super slow. Just cluck, cluck, purr, cluck. Act like you are just a slow moving hen through the woods. Add some scratchings in there. This is where patience really comes into play. Patience and turkey hunting go hand in hand and does not change with the afternoon. So walk slow and just act like you're just a slow moving hen. Or the other option, act like you're a lost hen. So that's where those long yelp sequences come in, but don't overdo it in the afternoon. Do it every 15 minutes and you will probably find success again if you get a turkey to gobble. But move slower, adjust your calling, add a lot more bubble clucks, clucks in general, purrs, just feeding types of calls, and lost hen calls. Those are the 2 that I would kind of go for in the afternoon. Tip number 4, my last afternoon turkey hunting tip: you need to slow down, but pop them. When I say slow down but pop them, slow down kind of tied back into number 3 when it comes to the calling tactics, but pop them. I still like to run and gun turkeys a lot. I hate sitting still when it comes to turkeys. The whole reason I love turkey hunting is that they respond to me. So I will run and gun until I get a gobble, because that's what gets me fired up. So when I say pop them, I talked about this in one of my last videos, but it's basically a shot call. I carry around a slate call everywhere I go when it comes to turkey hunting. And it's basically just sharp cuts on your call. So it shocks them into gobbling, but you're still a turkey sound. There's many times in many videos of turkeys just walking along and then maybe coming across a snake and going bop, 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 bop. And it scares them, but it will get a turkey to gobble a lot of the times. And I think it's honestly more effective than an owl call or a crow call when it comes to midday hunting. I think cutting sharply, but short cuts, because if you go pop, 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 the turkey will probably gobble and you won't hear it. So I like to start slow, pop, 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 pop. Space it out so you're able to hear the gobble amongst your calling. If you're with someone, have them stand 30, 40, 50 yards away. That way they can hear the gobble on top of your calling. That's another great tactic early on in the roost, or anytime you shot call, have a second person stand farther away from you so they can hear a gobble if you're too busy calling, and if it cuts you off while you're calling. So still pop them. That's when you get aggressive in the afternoon. Get them to gobble, and then you check their temperature, because if you get him to rip and then he just keeps ripping, you know he's hot, and then you can do whatever you want and he's basically going to come in. But once you get his location, you can play the terrain, you can work him, you can go slow, you can go fast, you can scratch, and you have all the time in the world when you finally get the gobble. But that quick cut sequence on a slate call works almost every time when I'm out there. It might not work every time I use it, but every time I'm out there turkey hunting, if it's when I get a shot gobble, that's what I'm using to get a shot gobble. Pop, 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 pop. Just basically a sharp cut will fire up that turkey a lot of the times to get them to rip off a yodel out there in the woods. So that is it, guys, my 4 killer tactics on afternoon turkey hunting to help you get a big old gobbler. If you are new here, subscribe to us, check out our next video or our last however many videos we did on turkey hunting. And if this is your first year turkey hunting, you will get it. Just have patience out there in the turkey woods. You're gonna make mistakes, even though I'm giving you all of my mistakes. Try and just keep everything in your memory bank, as every situation in the woods can be a little different, and that's where you're gonna learn. So even though you know something from a past hunt and you failed, it's gonna be just a little different on your next hunt, but you can utilize a mistake from the last hunt to kill that next gobbler. So that's it, guys. I am Mike with Obviously Outdoorsmen. Thanks for being here. Good luck turkey hunting.